Shalom, Sham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banya Sharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now today I'll be coming out with a lesson, and the title of it is "The River Shall Dry Up," and it is a learn back lesson, a few scriptures on a lesson that my elder of this camp just recently did about dock workers. The longshoremen dock workers are how they say prepared to go on a strike if certain demands and we'll say working wages are not met, and it's probably deeper than that as well. So, that's gonna cause a problem here in Babylon, America, actually. And that's gonna cause it's gonna be a chain reaction. It's gonna be a domino effect. If the dock workers start working, things can't get shipped in from the ports to warehouses or to distribution centers, and from the distribution centers to the retail chains, and just so on and so on and so on. And that's the Lord drying up the river of this place. That's the Lord making these amenities that were so easily gotten and or seemingly to be so cheap and so acquirable. The Lord is going to now make that hard to come by. And this is all part of the judgment of Yahweh Yahushua against this place, Babylon, America. And it is what it is. Thus saith the Lord. Don't give a F-U-C-K who don't like it. This is prophecy. This is the word of the Lord. This is not the words of man. These are the words of the Lord. And these prophecies will come to pass. And the river shall dry up, i.e. the amenities and the goods of this place is going to dry up. Because it is a judgment by the Heavenly Father. Without further ado, let's get right into it. This is Jeremiah chapter 50. Verse 16, it says, "Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land." So it says, cut off from this place the sower, him that plants the harvest, and him that reaps the harvest. The Lord says, cut them off. It's going to be a judgment to this place. And with this recent strike, with the dock workers, that's going to cause that. It's going to cause a problem. And also, this is talking about pretty much the ultimate judgment of Babylon, America as well. And continuing, and it says, this is for fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people. So certain nations that are here, all these foreign nations that are here, when they get for real deal hard here, because it's getting that way now, but once it really turns up and it get for real hard, they're going to start leaving. They're going to start fleeing and going onto their own people and going back to their own countries, their own native lands, because the Lord finna cut this place off. Verse 18, and Salaki, I'm jumping through Jeremiah chapter 50. Verse 18, it says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria." So the fact that we see things like longshoremen going on strikes or threatening to strike if specific demands are not met, that is the Lord punishing the king of Babylon, punishing Bo Jiden, because he's still the president. You ain't heard much about him, but he's still the president. They trying to put that Kamala chick out there, but Joe Biden's still the president. So this is a punishment against him. And just like the Lord punished the king of Babylon in the ancient times, Just like he did the king of Assyria in ancient times, he's doing the same thing in this time. This is applicable to today. Because again, Joe Biden is the king of Babylon. So just like he punished the king of Assyria way back then, he gonna punish the king of Babylon in this time. Let's continue. Verse 24. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon. Thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. So the Lord has set this place up for a great fall, for a great destruction, for a judgment. And the people that run this country was not aware. It never came to the mind. That and it says, thou art found and caught in this trap that the Lord has laid for this snare that the Lord has laid for this place, because this place has striven against the Heavenly Father. How has this place striven against the Heavenly Father? Idolatry, spiritual immorality, adultery, murder, so many things that are against what the Heavenly Father set up and put in place. This place is totally opposite of that. Let's continue. Let's jump down to verse 26. It says, come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouses. Cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Let nothing be left. So this place is going to get destroyed. This place is going to get judged by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. These other nations are going to come from the utmost border. And it says, open her storehouses. Cast her up as heaps. Open the storehouses, meaning take from this place. Cause the victuals to fail. Cause the amenities and the we'll say the commerce, the infrastructure to fail, to go down. Destroy this place, cast this place up as heat, and destroy this place utterly, and let nothing be left. So once the Lord bring this ultimate destruction to this place, it's going to be nothing left. But before that, the Lord going to dry up the river. He going to open the storehouses. He going to stop all this commerce and stuff from happening. Ain't gonna be no more sharecropping and those farming and all of that. The Lord gonna cut all that short, as you can see what He's done over the past months with the different animals, such as the chickens, the cows, and other things. That's some of the main meat that's consumed in America: beef, chicken, and some other things, certain vegetables and everything, but. That's the Lord drying up the river. The river gonna dry up here, man. And you're gonna have to be standing in and on Yahweh Yahushua. Your faith is you're gonna have to be believing in the Lord, because if you are standing contrary or opposite of the Lord, you're gonna fall victim to this famine. Because the Lord finna bring a famine of not only a famine of bread. It's like not only the famine of the word, but a famine of bread and water and things too. And then on top of that, the Lord going to bring the famine of the word. So now you ain't going to be able to hear the men of the Lord. You ain't going to be able to see the men of the Lord out there on the highways and the byways. So now you're not going to be able to get the news, the gospel of what is happening and why these things are happening. Because the Lord is going to destroy this place. Let's continue. Verse 27. It says, slay utterly all her bullocks. That goes in the cattle. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. So slay all her bullocks, meaning destroy this place, cause all kind of problems. It says, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, why, for the day of visitation has come upon this place, upon Esau's infrastructure, I should say. Day of visitation is coming. Let's continue. Verse 38. It says, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. So a drought is upon this place. That's why you have port workers and dock workers and longshoremen threatening to strike. And with this recent one, like my elder said, that Edomite ain't playing. He say anything, I will cripple you. Bro, he know what's important in this country, like how this country work. If the dock workers ain't working, well, ain't no more commerce, really. because it's going to affect, if the dock workers stop, it's going to affect commerce. It's going to affect the trucking industry. It's going to affect the warehouses. It's going to affect the storehouses, the distribution centers, all the way down to the retail chains, all the way down to us who buy these things. It's going to affect a domino effect, or a chain reaction, I should say. So a drought is upon this place, right? Because this is the land of this is the land of graven images, and people are mad upon the idols that they believe here. So their brains ain't gonna be able to they ain't gonna be able to comprehend. They're not gonna be able to comprehend the things that are going to happen, because people, they love their idols here. People think that they dwell safely here, and they don't. The river shall dry up, though. But let's continue. Let's go to second address. Second address. 16. Verse 21. You know what? Verse 19. This is behold. This is a second address, chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 19. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So these things are sent for scourges of amendment. These things are sent for correction. That's why the Lord allowed these things to happen, to get people back in line. Amendment, correction. That's why these things are happening. Famine and plague and tribulation and anguish, hard times. These things are what? Sent for correction. And they're going to come, and they're coming here in more ways than one. Verse 20 says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So though these things are going to be happening here in Babylon, America, the river drying up, things, inflation, hyperinflation shooting through the roof, things that was normally easily obtainable are now going to become difficult. Even with all of that, people are still not going to turn from their wickedness here in Babylon, America. And they're not going to always be mindful of the scourges, the correction. They're not going to take it to mind. They're not going to think about it like, why this happening? They just ain't going to be mindful. They ain't going to be mindful to it. They're just not going to pay it any attention. Let's continue. Verse 21. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So our people, even people now, I'm going to say our people here in general in America, including our people, yes. They think because they're able to still go to the store and buy a gallon of milk for anywhere from $3 to maybe $4, probably $5, they still think they're good because they can go and get a loaf of bread, and it don't cost no $300 for a loaf, I'm just things of the sort like that. So they think they're in good case because victuals are cheap still. But with this strike, that's going to drive prices way up. And even then, because our people think that they good now, evils are still growing upon the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion. These things are still going to happen. These things are still going to come to the earth because the Lord said it would. He would do it. This is a judgment. It's coming to the whole earth. The hour of temptation, everybody in the world going to get tested by that. But as far as these victuals and things drying up here in Babylon, America, this river drying up, that's going to cause people to act the fool. You know how people is here in Babylon, America. They act the fool like them. I seen a video some time ago. There's this one Jake woman, because her food stamps went on her card. She went in there and tore up somebody's store. Let's continue. Let's get back to the point. This is second Esdras chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at verse 22. It says, suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall be found empty. So it's going to come a point to where suddenly these sown places that you were thinking had plenty food, had plenty victuals and things, they're gonna appear unsown with this these longshoremen with at these different ports say we ain't working. The sown places are going to appear unsown, and the full storehouses are going to be found empty. Ain't gonna be nothing. Ain't gonna be no food, no water, no none of that. And if it is, it's gonna be it's gonna be sparse. It's not gonna be enough for people to do like they've been doing here in Babylon, America. Being able to buy like they, you know what I'm saying, like they normally can buy now. But let's continue. People are gonna find out, man. The river finna dry up. Verse 23. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man heareth, and they shall be suddenly afraid. So it's gonna get to a point to where this warning, that trumpet, when they give a sound, people are gonna be afraid. Because they're gonna know something ain't right. Something is wrong. Last point. This is at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So it's going to get to a point to where it's going to get so bad. Friends are going to fight against one another, fight against each other like enemies, and that goes into 2nd Ezra chapter 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. People standing up to fighting against one another with swords in their hand, robbing one another for lack of bread and for anguish and tribulation. They ain't going to be able to get the things that they've normally been able to get, so they're going to resort to stealing and taking, spoiling people's houses with the sword, and so many other things. Because why? The river, we'll say their amenities that they're used to getting is going to dry up. Or it's going to be dried up, I should say. So they're going to go and look to take from other people. So yeah, this recent lesson with these longshoremen and these various ports here in Babylon, America, gonna cause a major problem if them boys decide they ain't working no more. And with that, shalom.